we'll just do like the basic like where we are, which is at game lobby. And we've got 8 players today. We are in the same room as the players who are playing, so our commentary may be sparse if not, you know, sparse to nothing. But we have, yeah, gonna be good.
Open to which I yes. Or at least in champions. So see how that adjusts things. Like we've got some instant play here. A Raptor is there that I think people read. Fight it now. Exactly what the doctor ordered this. There, you're obviously able to threaten that fake out. Exactly what you want to try and give the Charizard a bit of room to set up. So of course that Staraptor is starting at -1. The Intimidate the Incineroar dropped didn't get inverted because it only gains Contrary on the Mega Evolution. And you can feel the controller vibrating there as the Charizard
that was the
Mega
other thing that was
evolves.
going to get you to turn off, but that's fine. You can't do it for the rest of the
I'll just
day.
keep it on a nice little insulating surface.
The excitement of being in person at events.
And unsurprisingly, we're going to see a little bit of caginess here. Staraptor doesn't want to have to take more damage than it has to. And that Heat Wave, obviously the Staraptor's safe, but there we go. With the 1-2 punch, the Fake Out to break any possible Focus Sash, and the Sun-boosted super effective Heat Wave, I don't think there was much of a chance for Whimsicott to survive that turn.
No, he just needed to dodge.
Still, Garchomp's pretty happy here. You've got probable speed supremacy over the Charizard. You're threatening a Rock Slide. It's got to think about what it does next, which is going to in turn give the Staraptor much more room to maneuver. Interesting thing too, of course, is that if the Incineroar's packing Parting Shot, that won't do anything into the Staraptor. But in fact, we're going to see a switch out. And Toxapex coming to the party is very interesting. So obviously the Rock Slide's not going to do anything to it, really. And if there's a close combat going in, it's going to be resisted. So a -1 resisted, look how pitiful that is. That's a bulky little urchin there. And yeah, so the Rock Slide, obviously Charizard's safe for 1 turn. And then, in the scheme of things, the Life Orb, the Garchomp losing almost as much in recoil as the Toxapex took from the Rock Slide. And now, of course, you're threatening Wide Guard. But the thing is that Charizard's still got a huge Sun Boost, and single target attacks, if you're willing to just commit to it, they'll still do quite a bit. So the other problem that you're facing, of course, is that the Incineroar sitting in the back, if it never comes back in, it's going to give that Staraptor a boost. So some interesting decision points here for both of our trainers.
Meanwhile, I'm just going to be filling out these team sheets so that we'll be able to have that information between rounds for people to review.
A solid protect there. And the Dragonclaw just respecting that Wide Guard right away and just saying, I need to get rid of this Toxapex. Obviously not doing as much damage as an Earthquake would have, but the Toxapex does go for the Wide Guard instead, just playing to try and achieve something. So the Heat Wave miss, an interesting... Yeah, and the Toxic going into the Staraptor, so I guess that playing that game of if you really want to get set up with close combats, then I'm just going to make sure that you eventually are just going to die of poison. But very interesting there that Angel was willing to risk eating a Rock Slide.
I guess with the position here, with upper KO maybe can afford to make a play that's a little less...
But another read there, so figuring that the Charizard might switch out, goes for the close combat, quite respectable damage considering that we've got a -1 on that Staraptor's attack. And the Earthquake just going back to Toxapex is public enemy #1, and it is enough.
Yeah, so Wide Guard not coming out there, that Toxapex being taken out by that super effective damage.
Really interesting. It's quite a hard read on the Charizard switching out, because between the close combat targeting the slot and the Earthquake coming out, like that would have been a far less effective turn if the Charizard had stayed in. So a willingness to just be aggressive there. So now the other question we have, of course, is the head-to-head here. That Garchomp is going to pretty handily... I'm not sure if that was a speed tie or if it just got lucky, but gets rid of that Garchomp. I don't think that critical hit mattered. But either way, both Garchomps are just going to fall off the field there, and I think Charizard's not too unhappy about that. The Staraptor does get a third close combat off, but it's stuck at -1 attack now, and it can't boost its attack. Oh, well, until the Incin comes in. So Weather Ball, respectable damage, and you're staring down a Fake Out. But I guess with the weather gone, we've got another situation here where, likewise, essentially it's just a final 2v2. And Incineroar, oh boy, yeah, between the Contrary and the Defiant, that Intimidate just feels so bad. You're threatening a Fake Out, but it's entirely reasonable for the opposing side to just throw out a Double Protect if they've got it. Get past the Fake Out turn, and then you're at, like, you're at +0 Staraptor and a +1 Kingambit, and they can both just threaten massive, massive damage into this team here. But we get no protects at all. Fascinating. I'm assuming here this close combat... Oh, yeah, like... Takes out Incin in one shot, which I don't think was guaranteed. That was a +0 Staraptor. So clearly got a lot of investment in its offensive stats, and possibly a lot of offensive investment on the other side as well. Good damage here from the Heat Wave, and the burn on Staraptor is very big. However, you kind of almost need double burn in that situation there, because the Kingambit's still threatening enormous damage with the Sucker Punch.
Yeah, and that Staraptor's probably sitting over you with the speed.
Yeah.
So,
like a Brave Bird plus Sucker Punch is probably enough to just take out the Charizard, but I guess we'll see exactly what gets picked.
But
Goes
instead
to
it's going to be
Roost.
the defensive Roost here instead. So,
Well, it makes sense.
I mean, it gives itself time to get that next Brave Bird that you were talking about. So, it has the same turn economy in effect
Yes.
as pressing it in that turn.
Other than the minor risk that a critical hit might have been enough to polish it off. But yes, definitely going how much damage it had done earlier. And you see the resignation there, just not wanting to gamble with it. Realizing at that point that you'd basically, you had no more outs. So a very interesting thing there, where that Incineroar just really, really, like, it did a lot of work right at the start of the game. It guaranteed the KO on the Whimsicott, and it meant that the Staraptor was playing at -1 for most of the match, but then once it had, it retreated, that's fine, but once it came back on the field, then it was a liability. It was actively making everything worse. So, interesting too, that willingness from Harley just play reckless, to completely disrespect the wide guard, like once it was clear that it wouldn't get clicked.
There's definitely room to iterate on that in the next match, which I believe we can queue into. I'm just still filling out. The fun about Open Team Sheet is there's so much more data entry to do.
Yes.
So thank you to Nikosar for carrying our commentary.
Even with
while
no
we...
natures, we've still got a lot to deal with. Alright, so game 2. Looks like we've just finished our team selection.
Okay.
And it'll be interesting to see exactly what adjustments each of these players is making. So it looks like we're seeing no changes on Angel's side for the leads. But we are seeing a tweak here on Harley's side, recognizing that Whimsicott was too vulnerable. Being essentially threatened by a one-hit KO from Heat Wave and being a fake-out magnet. You clearly just want something a bit more bulky there to oppose these leads.
Yeah,
So-
and this lead now provides, we've got Garchomp that resists the stab moves from Charizard, and we've got, if it's going to be faked out, it's going to have that rough skin. Meanwhile, Staraptor here, able to be faster than the leads here. At -1 this time, when we wouldn't expect it to be able to KO the Incineroar.
And
But,
the Charizard,
yeah.
I think, just decided to respect that threat of the Rock Slide. Sylveon now coming out, so wasn't picked in Game 1. And offensively, that's very, very good against this pair. The problem, of course, is it needs to tank 2 hits this turn, and then it needs to tank 2 more before it gets to do anything. But we're seeing some KG play from Harley, so it might not actually cost all that much. In fact, a double protect lead, just looking there to no-sell that fake out on the Incineroar so that Sylveon gets in for free. And depending on exactly how these Pokemon are kitted out, given that Staraptor's at -1, I think I'd be very confident saying that Sylveon surviving this turn is going to be able to do something. Even though it's the bottom of the speed order. There's no way it's getting KO'd by a double up. Like, there's no coverage moves that I can see.
So it's going to be the Whimsicott coming in instead, but if that... and yeah, Staraptor's going to want to start working on its defenses here. And it knows that, you know, Parting Shot is not going to be very likely here. It's...
But we see Parting Shot on the other slot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So... instead of tapping damage into that Whimsicott, which is holding a Focus Sash, it's just the debuff instead.
Which, of course, was a Garchomp when that move got locked. So Charizard here, not entirely unhappy. Now, big question is that Whimsicott packing Charm?
This one does have
because
Charm available to it. It also has Encore available to it. So it's a little bit unusual next to the Staraptor, because next to Staraptor you want to have...
So that means, implicitly...
oh, yes.
You can only... all the other desirable options, you either don't have Moonblast, you don't have Protect, or you don't have Tailwind. But I think Charizard feels it's got its moment. Gambling that if there's like a Charm Brave Bird takes it out, then the Sylveon can probably just pick up a KO with Hyper Voice based on the recoil. And I think the Sylveon can probably take a Brave Bird on its side. So we'll see where it goes. It is the Sylveon, and yes, it can. So only at +1 thanks to the Intimidate from the Incineroar, and I would expect this is just going to be a double KO, possibly before the Sylveon even gets to do anything. I'm assuming we're just going to see a Hyper Voice go into nothing. So it's like, good on you, Sylveon. You absolutely paved the way for that. And of course, given that the Heat Wave wasn't guaranteed to connect, I think it was, very much worth just going for the follow-up AoE there. So, a very, very good turn there on Angel's side. You just managed to completely no-sell your opponent's game plan. You've now got the freedom, or some freedom, to move your Incineroar back in. Obviously, that King Gambit still threatens it. And you just got so much firepower. However, the King Gambit Sucker Punch is probably enough to KO the Sylveon, even with the resistance, and Garchomp is at the top of the speed order. So a Rock Slide is just going to be devastatingly effective here. We haven't seen how it works out, but you can usually expect it will be a threat of a one-hit KO to a Charizard. And with the Sylveon having lost so much health, it's just in trouble there regardless. So we see that bargain. Oh boy. That Intimidate now, giving the King Gambit its boost, but of course, it does work properly on the Garchomp. So I think we'll see. I think it's enough. Okay, that Charizard can take it pretty well.
Yeah,
so reasonable bulk
surviving
there.
that.
-1 with a Life Orb, still quite a lot of damage. Of course, now we're probably going to see the Heat Wave. And that's Pokemon for you.
So yeah, that's really quite heartbreaking there, because that Charizard now very vulnerable to priority move.
But we do realise that even though the Garchomp can protect through the Fake Out, the King Gambit can't. So you've got a very, very safe option if you just throw the Fake Out into King Gambit and then just get the Charizard to attack.
And that is indeed what we're seeing come out here as that Fake Out lands into the King Gambit. And flinch for flinch, we're going to see that Weather Ball.
I think we can be pretty confident this will get a KO here. Choppleberry, obviously. I think even an Ockerberry might not have been enough with the amount of firepower this Mega Charizard Y is going. Ali sees the writing on the wall in that interesting way where obviously that Garchomp was still in pretty good condition, but having to deal with a whole team of 4, I think just realise it's not worth your time to try and slug it out.
Yeah, so Angel there, levelling out the set there at 1-all.
And really interesting, because the thing that game pivoted on was that switch where the Sylveon got in for free. And it's a really interesting contrast to the previous game, where another switch was made in the face of threats, and that one got extremely well read and turned the entire team, essentially just got the bottom taken out of it from that Garchomp switching into the close combat and the Earthquake. So really interesting, how each of these players is trying to respond to the situation as it emerges, trying to read other people's intentions.
So yeah, heading into game 3, it'll be interesting to see what the players bring out. We'll probably don't want to speculate too much compared to normal, but it'll be interesting to see whether any additional modes
contingent in that way.
are
I
shown.
think Angel did make the right call, leaving the Toxapex behind, given that Harley had shown quite a lot of willingness to just like respect the wide guard and made a point of getting rid of it very quickly. So we're going to see 3 for 3 on the Incin Charizard leads, and Winds have got Garchomp. So I like this one where you've got the option where you can obviously threaten that Tailwind Rock slide here, even at -1. Obviously we've seen that that doesn't KO, but it doesn't mean that you can't just get a lot done there.
And always chase a crit, you know.
And we're not seeing anyone switching out.
Yeah. So this Whimsicott does not have a Protect available to it, so if it is going to be hit by that 1-2 punch, it will be taken out again.
Yeah. But since the Garchomp outspeeds the Charizard, you can at least oh no, there we go. We're just going to see the Protect. Maybe it's just a Tailwind and just accept that your Whimsicott is risking getting KO'd. And not even that, so that's really unfortunate. And there's the Heat Wave, so
does the Heat Wave hit its mark? It does. So this is going to knock out that Whimsicott.
And very similar to game 1. Of course, the difference being is that you've got a Garchomp sitting out here on the field rather than a Staraptor. And there's not really any way for that Garchomp to improve its position apart from switching out to reset its stat changes. Because meanwhile, the Staraptor here gets to come in without the Intimidate. And now, assuming
its attack stat is pristine, and
there's no way for that Incineroar to get off the field and get back on without activating Contrary. You can't even, I mean, obviously Parting Shot will work fine on the Garchomp, but you can't target that Staraptor slot. And that's going to make a big difference, because now if you just double into the Charizard, that's almost certainly a KO. Even at +0 on the Staraptor and a Rock Slide from the Garchomp should do the job pretty handily.
I don't know whether the stream can hear the ads that we're getting from Spotify or whatever, but yeah.
And we had seen that. I think we've seen from game 1 that I'm not sure that crit actually mattered. I think that Incin might be getting one-hit KO'd anyway, just by a +0 or single target. It's still not enough. That Charizard does live, so you better hope you don't flinch. The Heat Wave's going to do pretty good damage into that Staraptor, even with the close combat boost. And out it comes. Oh, wow, that's taking it like a champ. Burn on the Garchomp, but I mean, you never turn your nose up at a burn, but obviously the Staraptor would have been the one that would have made a much bigger difference. Big question here is, like, you've got speed supremacy now on Angel's side, because we've already seen that Choice Scarf Garchomp trivially outspeeds a non-Choice Scarf Garchomp. In principle, if Venusaur's been brought into the mix, Chlorophyll will give it tremendous advantage here. I guess the other possibility is maybe you could just try your luck with Sylveon. Like, showed it. Yeah, there we go. We saw game 2. It could take quite a bit of punishment and still accomplish things. That Garchomp's at -1 and burned. I think we can safely write off most of what it can do offensively. So the big question is, how much can the Staraptor do into that Sylveon? And can it afford to disrespect the Charizard? It's a really key turn here.
So it's going to be a Roost coming out the Staraptor instead.
I like that. And I'm assuming the Garchomp, just going to get rid of the Charizard, take the risk that maybe something happens, and the Staraptor realizing it has to be in it for the long term. Because if it were to attack, you'd basically be taking big risks, because the Hyper Voice is going to do a lot of damage. It trivially polishes off the Garchomp, and as we can see, even if the Staraptor had gotten a close combat off, I think it might have still been threatened by the Hyper Voice KO.
Yeah,
let alone if it had Brave Birded.
It's now in the position where its next close combat actually, like, depending on the damage roll, it might actually be able to survive. Oh, whoops. What have I got wrong there? Oh. That's the wrong item on the King Gambit.
fascinating situation here for this
Oh, I
Scarf
see the
Garchomp.
problem. Haha, I know what I've done wrong.
You've obviously got the problem where, yeah, I was thinking we might see the Stomping Tantrum come out, because the Kingambit's a much bigger problem for the Sylveon than the Staraptor is. So the big question is, can the Hyper Voice pick up this 35%? It can't, not quite. That's a clutch survival for the Kingambit, and that Iron Head just doing ruinous damage to the Sylveon.
So Sylveon gets another chance, maybe with a quick attack here.
Yeah. No, this is really, really bad, because we saw that Garchomp had locked into the Stomping Tantrum, so it had basically committed to being, I'm going to get rid of the Kingambit, and the rest is, the rest is up to you, Sylveon. So now, all Harley needs to do is KO that Sylveon, and that's game over, because the Staraptor can't be hurt by Stomping Tantrum. So obviously, like, there's room for these things to mix it up. But we do see that taken out. And you should be feeling pretty happy here, right? You've got speed supremacy. Either you go for the close combat or you go for the roost, just to make yourself completely untouchable by a quick attack. Like, not even a crit would have a chance here. Like, and now all you need to do is the easiest thing in the world, just target that Sylveon with a close combat or a Brave Bird. It can't do anything to get rid of you before you act, and the Garchomp will just be helpless.
It looks so threatening.
Yeah, it's big,
It's
scary,
so threatening.
big, scary
big
monster.
Scary thing.
Yeah, it's just gonna have to have. What's it gonna do? Throw a tantrum? So fascinating there. It just all of that hinged on just a handful of hit points. If that Kingambit had been cleanly KO'd by the Stomping Tantrum and Hyper Voice combo, then that would have just been enough to stitch the, well, maybe not stitch the game up, but it would have been much more comfortable.
I mean, as it was, like, perhaps, like a Rock Slide click would have been more useful at that point, because it would have been the
chance for the flinch.
Chance for the flinch, but out comes the close combat into that Sylveon, and that is going to spell the game.
Yep. So obviously, strictly speaking, it's not over yet, but
No.
the Garchomp is helpless.
I mean, what's the PP on?
And we see the forfeit come in. Yeah. So that's a really fascinating set. I really like the adjustments we saw from the players over the course of it.
Really cool set.
Yeah. I really liked as well Harley recognising that the Staraptor was a very fragile lead when the Insim was coming out so frequently at the start. Just recognising that it's better to keep it inflated to sweep when it can use its superior speed to just take its pick and not rely too much on setting up. Alright, well, that was a game 3. Not sure how many of our
I reckon the rest of the
ongoing.
matches have been wrapped up from just, oh no, there's still one maybe still going.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot of people have finished their games.
It's interesting as well, I'm realising, seeing the, looking at the team sheets now, that Venusaur actually slightly unconventional. Not only running Leaf Storm, like, because often you don't see the Chlorophyll Venusaurs, you sometimes see them not even running a Grass Stab move at all. Going for Dual Stab and with Leaf Storm rather than a weaker option, clearly it's just there for some extremely, like,
it's a Life Orb
specific
set,
targets.
so it wants to be doing damage,
Yeah, rather than the Focus Sash that you sometimes see. Would have been interesting to see how it interacted in this set. But also, so much of that as well pivoted around the tremendous respect that Angel gave to that Whimsicott of just like, no, I've got to get rid of you. I've got to throw everything at from moving you from the field. And interestingly enough, the only set where the Whimsicott actually got to do much of anything was the game that it lost.
Oh yeah. One of the nice things about heading to all these game venues is getting to sample their wares, and I'm currently enjoying a nice hot chocolate, including this marshmallow, staring at me from the bottom of my mug.
Hospitality is not just for Sinister.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I'm going to drink up this, I mean, it's not matcha, but... Is it worth about a quarter of my health?
Be important questions of our time.
Mm.
Interesting too, seeing, just reflecting, I guess, because obviously it's been a while since I've sort of had any real open team sheet exposure.
Yes.
But I had noticed that broadly there was a trend away from choice scarf in a lot of open team sheet compared to closed team sheet. So I'll be interested to see how that pans out today. Obviously we saw that Garchomp there. It was a blessing and a curse. I think the first time it turned up, obviously it had the big problem where it just came in on a really bad switch. The second game, it helped it, but also the position was such a good one that it didn't really matter. And then game 3, of course, the choice scarf was gave it absolutely nothing. It was always going to outspeed the King Gambit, and then having to lock into Stomping Tantrum essentially just sealed the doom of the Sylveon. So just one of those fascinating things where you've got to play around immunities, especially given that obviously we saw on the other team there's not just the flying type, but also a potential levitator and a fairy type as well. So only one, the only move that Garchomp had that didn't have some degree of immunity problem was Rock Slide.
Yeah. Yeah, and the problem as well with going for Earthquake is threatening your partners as well. So
I think it's very much a sometimes thing on that.
Yeah.
Like you run it when you're planning to wide guard or have the Charizard out on the field.
Yeah. So that Garchomp given quite a few difficult decisions in that last stretch there, and we there's a bit of fun happening, I think, in our final set of round 1.
Yeah, really going down to, I think, some perhaps potentially frustrating turns here and there.
I'm hearing the word Rock Slide thrown around a few times.
Well, one of those things you've just got to accept when you're playing Pokemon. There's very little that's not impacted by it.
Oh dear. The old Grimmsnarl having to hold everything together. End game, it sounds like.
An attack is its best stat. Surely it can punch all those guys.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, implicitly that means that we'll have round 2 coming up very soon. So I think we'll have our matchups read out shortly by our organizer.
Make sure that the correct team sheets make their way around as we do the pass the parceling.
Thank you. Well done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Luck is important in Pokemon.
Yes, a bit of a comment. I think we are a little more audible than we'd like to be, so we'll try and be a little more conscious of that. But
Let's try
yeah.
At least it's open team sheet.
Yes, it is at least open team sheet. Yes. Information is. Excellent. Okay,
right.
So we'll try and find a volunteer to be on stream next. Yep. If you do some talking, I'm also live, I think, but I'm, going to be doing team sheet stuff, so I'll let you carry again.
Brilliant. All right. So we do now have our second round match coming up. So we've got. Is this us? Yes.
Yes, that will be us.
Excellent. So that's Kai versus Nathan. And I'll be keen to see these team sheets come into being. In the meantime, we're just going to duck into spectator. We'll see whether we're still in team selection. We are. Ooh, this is some interesting.
Right. Don't give away too much to the players, but we can talk about things that are on our open team sheet.
Well,
yep.
I like seeing Metagross here. Gallade as well. Both teams with Frigoraph and Whimsicott, so very interesting that priority back and forth. Because at the end of the day, if you got Tailwind, you're never useless. But
you were just talking about how Choice Scarf is out of vogue in the open team sheet, but we are seeing the Basculation Choice Scarf come out.
Well, it's almost like, what's old is new again. That was the original terror of Reg MA. And I guess it's still here. Scarf Basculation, personally, still gives me nightmares. So I can understand why you'd want to run it. And that Life Orb Gallade, that would just hit like a truck. Mega Metagross too. And I haven't seen, is that Glimora running a Megastone too?
It is.
Fascinating.
I've got to say, I really enjoy this handwriting. And we are going to head into the match.
Alright, well I don't think I have a read at all on who's bringing what here. So, we'll just have to see. Frigoraph Basculation, an interesting openers, especially after that Whimsicott Garchomp. So, obviously right away with that Armortails on the field, and the Prankster on the Whimsicott. Not that it tends to usually run anything hostile apart from Encore. But anyway, it's still impacted while that Giraffe's on the field, stopping any hostile Prankster moves.
Well, I mean, Charm is a hostile move. That would be,
which, of course, when you've got a Staraptor, you probably have. But we interestingly see, that Garchomp outspeeding the Basculation.
I presume that would also mean that it itself has,
And the flip turn, just Bask deciding it wants to reposition, let someone else have a go at things. And we'll see what comes out. Obviously, okay, Metagross. Look at that chunky boy. He's just ready to ruin someone's day. And this Moonblast, if it's targeted on that slot, that's going to do nothing.
Oh, I mean,
that's
pretty good for a resisted hit.
Yeah. No, I was expecting a lot less than that. And Trick Room coming out, which very interesting. Because obviously we've seen that there is that Metagrossite on our chunky boy. And Mega Metagross gains 40 base speed when it Mega Evolves. So,
I mean, it's facing down Whimsicott
very interesting to see how
presumably
that changes.
Scarf Garchomp, so I mean, it's probably still going to be slower than them.
And the other question...
Not the Whimsicott, but... Yeah.
The other question you've got to run into, of course, is how reliable is your Bullet Punch when there might be a Frigoraph on the other side as well? That said, you might just decide to plump for something straightforward, go for a Psychic Fangs. Not sure if it's backing Earthquake. But plenty of options.
The answers will come in time.
They will. And indeed, out comes Frigoraph, clearly looking to protect its buddy from any priorities. Look at this thing. Look how chunky that is. It's just so many arms.
It's going to be the Twin Beam into Whimsicott.
Respectable damage.
Very good. Like, that's a 2-hit KO. Well, a 2 kind of 4. And it's going to be not a priority move. So resisted Psychic Fangs into Frigoraph.
The Frigoraph taking it like a champ. That's pretty good. Moonblast, meanwhile, given that the Metagross... Interesting, the Frigoraph taking not...
Yeah, it's only a tiny bit more than Metagross took, yeah.
Clearly, like, one of these Pokemon probably has a lot more bulk invested on it than the other one does. But a good switch there. That Psychic Fangs would have done way more damage into the Garchomp. And Whimsicott's still allowed to sit around on the field. But, given that we've seen... Oh, okay, so just looking to get ahead of a Trick Room, trying to stop a counter Trick Room. We'll see whether or not that's what gets clicked. The Iron Head doing still not amazing damage there. Whimsicott just goes for the Moonblast, and since that Frigoraph is yet to act, I think we have to assume it is trying for a Trick Room. Because there's no way that thing's faster than the Whimsicott.
Ah, here's an interesting factoid. This Whimsicott is actually carrying a fairy feather.
Oh, no wonder it's doing so much damage. But it also got very lucky. That Moonblast special attack drop means that the Farigiraf can't KO it with another Twin Beam. It already did just over half damage, so at -1 you're going to have to rely on something else, like the Iron Head from the Metagross, or some other option. So I think I can see the vision here, where Nathan clearly figuring that the Whimsicott maybe just didn't think it was much of a threat. And we're going to see Kai indeed acknowledging that, okay, I probably need to get out of here now. But we just see that Twin Beam targeting again. Pretty happy here. And now with that Imprison in play, but yeah, because each Farigiraf has picked a different attacking move, that Psychic is still free to throw out. My goodness, that was a critical hit. That still did so little. And interesting, that Iron Head going into Farigiraf. So the Garchomp doesn't get in free, but it certainly takes less damage than it might have. Oh, okay. I think Delphoc's actually not that unhappy here. Even though you've got your last turn of Trick Room, you can just protect through it if you want to. And you'll have, you resist everything that the Metagross's stab has to offer. We'll see what the coverage options are, but you don't really mind that much. And that Farigiraf has now been hurt so badly, it's not going to be able to set another Trick Room on.
We're seeing that Mega Evolution coming out from the Delphox.
But I imagine it's just going to hit Protect. Interesting, the Farigiraf also going for Protect, even though it's definitely at the bottom of the speed order. Iron Head probably KOs Whimsicott here, yeah. But I suspect that was a deliberate sacrifice.
Has the Farigiraf left the field to suppress Imprison?
It has not. So
yeah, Protect can't come out from that Delphox.
Ah, yes, that's a good point.
But it is going to secure that KO onto the Metagross slot.
Yes, a good point there. But yeah, we're in a situation here where I guess you'd be you've got your Basculegion now, which I guess you've got another as well. That Choice Scarf on the Basculegion does give you a huge amount of power to play with in the end game, whether it's Wave Crash or Last Respects. In either case, Delphox is going to be very badly hurt. We haven't quite seen the speed tiers put to the test though, because obviously we saw it. That's the Choice Scarf on the Garchomp as well means that you can threaten and turn quite badly. So Gallade instead coming out here. Interesting situation. Yes, you've got a lot of firepower, but you're very frail. Physically, obviously, Gallade just has so little going for it on the defensive side. So I think it's going to be an interesting set of decisions that you're going to have to make.
Yes, and this Gallade doesn't have access to any priority, nor in fact much that it can use to threaten the very close survival there. But making this Heat Wave single target maybe buys you a little bit of time here.
And of course now the Gallade can trivially KO the Garchomp here. With your Life Orb plus Sharpness, you can easily do the, what was it, 35% or so that it was sitting on. And now I think in this situation where you've brought it down to 2v1, I won't say it's a complete checkmate, but the Basculegion is looking very happy here. Provided, of course, that it's faster than the Delphox. And I don't think it's guaranteed, depending on exactly where the EVs have been placed. I don't think even with the Scarf, there we go, the Delphox is faster than that Basculegion. Gallade gets lucky and avoids the Heat Wave, and the Basculegion resists. But,
so this Last Respect is going to pick up the Delphox there.
Super effective.
Yeah.
You know, still base power 150, I think.
Yeah.
2 KOs on your team, so ruinous damage. But that is still useful information that Kai has gained there, that your Delphox is the fastest thing on the field. Like, that Basculegion, even though it's got a Choice Scarf, you're able to outspeed it not just with your Delphox, but also with your own choice guard jump. So it'll be interesting to see just what adjustments our players come up with for this next one. Quite interesting just sort of seeing how some of those numbers played out as well. You saw the between the Fairy Feather and clearly some stat investment. That Whimsicott was very, very offensive. You know, like it did a lot of damage to the Metagross considering it was just hitting into a resistance, and did good work into the...
Oh, we're already into...
There we are.
Yeah.
Looks like it's still turn 1. So we'll just see how we go on that front. So right now, I feel very, very confident with that Delphox. Your fastest thing on the field, staring down 2 things that are weak into your Heatwave stat. And you've also got a Focus Sash King Gambit. Like, that Metagross is really not going to have a good day against this pair. We do, of course, have the big unspoken threat that at any point in time, it could just be a Farigiraf coming in from the back to mess around with some of potential sucker punches. But the Heatwave alone is so threatening, I think you have to respect it. And indeed, we see Glimora, so both Megas have been brought. Obviously Glimora still not actually that happy into a Delphox without some other way to mess with things, because yes, it's not going to expect the Psychic into the Metagross slot, but try and use it next turn. Tailwind will help, but this is still going to be a lot of damage.
The Focus Sash is going to keep Whimsicott on the field just for a little bit longer here, but we're going to see what the King Gambit is going to choose, and it's going to be Iron Head, and thankfully that Iron Head does not go into Glimora's slot. So Whimsicott's not too unhappy here, having set up the Tailwind and then getting to leave the field.
Yeah, Iron Head would have been a pretty hard read into a Metagross. But the big problem that you're facing down is that King Gambit still has a Focus Sash completely intact. So even though you've got speed supremacy, you can't stop it from just throwing out a Sucker Punch. Depending on how the Basculage is built, it might be able to take 1 hit.
I'd expect so. I mean, Basculesion's option here might be to go an Aqua Jet to avoid Sucker Punch, but instead it's going to be a switch into the Metagross.
And I wonder if we're going to see the Glimora Mega Evolve.
So it's going to be, yeah, so that blocks the Aqua Jet opportunity here, and we're going to see Glimora come out.
And also just get to tank the Power Gem if it turns up. The Farigiraf's going to take it so much better than the Delphox would. Because especially that realization from Kai that if you can just, that adaptability just lethal. That might, however, be all we see from, all we see from the Glimora. That said, it's good damage, and we still have Tailwind up, because of course, once Kai manages to outlast the Tailwind that Nathan has set up, you're just sitting on top of the speed order with your Delphox, and you can clean up pretty much whatever you want.
Yeah, and as you pointed out, that Focus Sash on the King Gambit doing so much work there. We're accustomed to seeing it on the Whimsicott slot, but instead here it is passed over onto the King Gambit, which is threatening so much into this pair right now.
And that Metagross is in an interesting position here where even with stomping tantrums all right into the King Gambit, but it's not amazing. And you kind of have to throw everything at the Farigiraf to stop him from setting Trick Room. And knowing
that Delphox is in the back, kind of don't oh wow, the 1% survive. I
guess so.
Here you might want to gather some information for your calcs, but it's looking, it is going to be the forfeit coming straight out, so...
Yeah. No, that's a good point. The Trick Room click was not necessarily going to be that soon. But of course, it is that pressure as well, that even if you don't need to remove a Trick Room, making that calculation that throwing yourself...
I wanted to.
You can't take that King Gambit off the field so easily when it has the Focus Sash. I wouldn't be surprised if that critical hit made a difference between getting a KO and not getting a KO. The King Gambit didn't have any boosts. Obviously, if you're running Focus Sash, you are free to invest pretty heavily into your attack stat. There's probably, I wouldn't be surprised if it's just hitting as hard as it possibly can. But I don't know, I guess we might see in Game 3, but clearly just no sold, unfortunately, by that Baskia Legion, and that Photograph switch in on place the Delphox just doing so much work. Obviously, if it hadn't happened, it would have just gone right away. So we'll get ready to see what Game 3 brings.
Yeah, it's interesting here. The double Omega bring,
Yeah.
but the sequencing just didn't quite work out in the favour.
Especially the tricky
as
part.
needed.
Where you can't say it was useless doing the Mega on the Glimmer, because obviously the adaptability and the stat boost means you hit so hard. But it did then mean that you didn't get your Toxic Debris up because you'd Mega Evolved, and also Metagross was just left so much worse off than if it had had a Mega Evolution of its own to...
Toxic Debris into Kai's
move
team
around.
is not necessarily the most useful.
No.
Delphox, once it Mega Evolves, gets access to Levitate, and there are the other...
Yeah,
you know,
practically speaking, the only thing it could have affected there would have been Garchomp. Oh, and
yeah, once the
Whimsicott.
Whimsicott's taken off the field,
Yeah.
which it sort of did, serve that.
Ooh.
Okay. So there's going to be Delphox plus King Gambit coming out here. This Gallade is very offensive set, so no access to a wide guard or anything like that. And I'll refrain from saying too much more about what I think the players might click here, but the options are interesting.
They're definitely there in places. The Whimsicott obviously has the advantage of itself having a Focus Sash, so it can't get taken out quickly. Because the Sucker Punch obviously is not going to do anything to it if it's setting Tailwind or the like. And if the King Gambit commits to a Cow Cleaver and Iron Head on that slot, that means that it's going last.
Yeah, so a Sacred Sword here just knocks King Gambit
Yep.
down to its Focus Sash here. And maybe sets up Whimsicott to do the final blow with a Moonblast in the
Moonblast.
next turn.
But we'll see. This may well be the
I
end of
think
Gallade,
a Heat
depending on
Wave
how the
here is
targeting
going to be
goes.
devastating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, in fact, maybe Whimsicott doesn't survive the turn either. So,
Something's getting KO'd.
yeah, I think
Because
so.
I think a Counter Cleave is pretty clearly getting rid of either of these things from the point where they're at.
Oh, and that is
That is potentially quite impactful. We'll see whether or not, and the Iron Head to me implies no. So, as it turns out, the point doesn't matter.
well. This does mean that King Gambit can put a Sucker Punch into this Whimsicott now
It
because
does.
its other moves aren't actually that enticing to press.
No, you don't want to, you probably don't want to be encoring the moves that have just been done. That said, with Tailwind up, Limora is very zippy and it can just threaten that Delphox.
Yeah, Glamora's very happy in this position, yes.
The other possibility, of course, is that there could be a Fruit Grab sitting in the back to try and trick a Sucker Punch away. We do not have a... Also, no, I'm thinking last game. There is Protect on both of these Pokemon on Kai's side. So the other possibility is you can just try and stall the Tailwind out. I think the Delphox making a solid decision there. Garchomp, if it's a Power Gem coming out, Garchomp will take that like a champion. And in fact, the Sludge Bomb will also just not really care about that much. So the big question is, are we going to see that Sucker Punch to get rid of Whimsicott?
So Whimsicott's going to be protecting instead, so it's going to keep it safe from that potential priority move. And Sucker Punch was directed into the opposing team as Glamora goes Power Gem could KO the King Gambit, giving Whimsicott another turn to make something happen. And with Garchomp hitting the field, like Moonblast now is pretty nice
Really
to press.
nice. Especially because that we've got with Tailwind up, you're probably outspeeding with both of these Pokemon, even though that thing's got a Choice Scarf. We technically don't know exactly where the speed interactions will end up, but I think I'd usually go double the smaller number is usually going to still beat out 50%.
Usually, but
number.
you never
never know.
quite know.
The big problem, of course, the Garchomp has is that it can't protect. It's got a Choice Scarf. All you can do is either just hope you can face tank 2 hits, one of which is super effective, or switch to Delphox and probably just get it melted.
The Moonblast is going to come out into that Garchomp.
And look at that. We don't even need a Fairy Feather, apparently. That's already just so much. And at this point, even though obviously it resists the Sludge Bomb, adaptability coupled with that monstrous special attack stat on the Mega Glimmer is more than enough to take it down. The Psychic here will do good damage. We've seen like that Frigga does pack a punch. But the problem that you're facing now is still that the other team's got speed supremacy. You do at least have
The question here is how many turns, with only 1 turn of Tailwind, whether you want to stall that out. So Delphox should have access to the tools it needs to stall that out, but could Whimsicott itself stay on the field to then threaten another Tailwind? But the reply to that is whether you want to set up Trick Room at some point. So all of these things.
If honestly, the other thing is you're really missing the fact there's no Hyper Voice on this Farigiraf, because it could probably take out both if it had it. I suspect we're going to see the Whimsicott getting hit by the Farigiraf, because you don't want Trick Room while the Tailwind's gone.
But it is going to be the Power Gem into the Delphox instead, so Farigiraf getting its next Psychic off into the Glamora slot, so...
And that's fair enough too. Just deciding that the thing's a big juicy threat. Just want to stop it.
So the question is what the last Pokemon on the team is, and if it's Basculegion, I think...
So Basculegion unfortunately has to make a choice here.
Yeah,
if you lock in
very
last
difficult.
respects, you can't beat Farigiraf. So we saw this similarly in the previous round. So realistically, that means you probably have to consider what you're going to get done with a Wave Crash or a Flip Turn, but it does make the prospect... Oh, and we see that Double Protect come out from the Delphox, just figuring it's going to be the target here. And the Tailwind, because we knew that the Delphox is faster than the Basculegion.
Oh, even with the Scarf. So
we saw that in game
I wouldn't be surprised here if we do see the Trick Room.
Obviously it was lucky getting that Double Protect off, but a good assessment of the situation there. So now Delphox, Farigiraf at the very bottom of the speed order, and Delphox coming after it, given the Tailwinds up. And it should be so much more comfortable for Kai now. But you're basically guaranteed.
Here's my question is, how much damage does a Helping Hand... oh no, okay, we're just going to go for single hit from the... like who needs Twin Beam when you can do Twin Psychic? So that is going to be Basculegion taken off the field. And this is looking so good now for Kai.
Yeah. No, just stuck in a really uncomfortable position there from having lost the Glimora without having gotten more damage out. It would be such a different situation there. Obviously as well informed by just, Kai being willing to take that risk on that 30% luck roll. Just the extremely unnecessary... Alright, fair enough. Whimsicott,
Helping Hand into Protect. Yep.
And the wow. Really doing the swag plays.
We're going for that 5%, like the opportunity to miss here.
10%.
10%. Well, yeah.
I mean,
give your opponent their outs.
has a path to victory here.
Yeah, just dodge every hit. At some point, Delphox will just switch to the Psychic. I think it's going to be that. Oh, here we go.
Okay, just fails the Double Protect.
Okay, so is it going to be... Oh,
and the overhead
connect.
All right, goodbye, Whimsicott. You did your best. But yeah, that Double Protect earlier obviously making a big difference, because if the Wave Crash had connected and taken out the Delphox, then that Farigiraf would have had a much, much harder job. So well played there by Kai. Managed to turn around some pretty uncomfortable positions over the course of that set.
But yeah, great game as well from Nathan. I loved seeing those mega picks and some cool stuff. I like that Imprison on the Farigiraf as well. Very cool team.
Also quite interesting, sort of illustrating why you don't necessarily see so much of some of these Pokemon, like that Mega Metagross in particular. We saw it guess, be stuck in a few very uncomfortable situations where it just didn't quite have what it needed stat-wise in a few dimensions. And it's obviously its type effectiveness, just not a very good matchup into Kai's team. So,
Yeah, an unfortunate matchup situation, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so round 3's on its way here.
Yep. Find their seats as we go into the round 3. See who's going to end up on our stream match. Let's see if we have any volunteers for streaming. It is the nearby one, but we'll see. We'll just get the streamer. We'll see those players go into Top Cut, probably. Yeah. Sorry, I was muted. Probably not going to be doing any commentary for this one because the players are seated right in front of us. But we will see how we go. I'm just going to be entering the next players.
Brilliant.
Yep.
All right, so we've got Ethan on one side, and
Felix.
looks like Felix will be their opponent. So two players we haven't had the
So we
chance to
got- yep.
feature yet.
So it'll be...
Yep. Right, panicking. Yep, perfect. So it'll be nice to see some fresh teams. Obviously, this is the
we're in.
last round of Swiss. So after this point, only the top 4 will advance. So depending on exactly how the rest of the tournament goes, this is, it's our last chance to see fresh faces. Both of our players are in team selection, and I'm just going to get a quick little sneak peek here. And we've got Spice. So
Oh, I love it.
Both teams really giving us some cool stuff.
I love this.
Yeah, like this is awesome. Not that there's anything wrong with any of the players that we've spectated so far tonight, but we've definitely got
It's going to
things
swap
taken up
over
that
to this view.
extra few notches. I think, yes, like Ali in particular, I think you've certainly got a lot to like with that. I think that's Paniking's team there on the left.
I haven't.
I've seen you play around with some of those elements before. And Felix also some really cool things here. So we are seeing, I'll probably say the 2 most conventional things that could have come out on Felix's side. But the Espathra Sneasler there, just a classic lead in to, like, you know, really, really mess with your
Fun
opponent's
stuff,
hand.
yeah.
Hold
All
on
right,
room
and
to
we'll
enable
probably
setup.
try and
Keep the
curb our
generalities.
tongues from here as
Yeah.
they head into their turn selections.
Well, we do see the big
Oh.
kaboom here. Make Revolution, not wasting any time. You've got one turn to be the fastest thing on the field.
But Fake Out's coming out into that slot as Psychic lands
Yep.
into Sneasler.
Unsurprisingly, the Sneasler does not survive a quadruple effective Psychic from a Mega Delphox. And we can see here that it's not running that Focus Sash that you sometimes see. I suspect it's White Herb.
Have
that's
a
all right.
look. The Sneasler is indeed White Herb, yes.
And now that Espathra doing its terrifying setup things between the Calm Mind and the Speed Boost, it's now really, really well situated. And Warren Guru comes out. So fascinating seeing, obviously you're normally used to seeing that in a Trick Room context, but it's reasonably bulky. And there's certainly room for it to just run away with games if it's allowed to.
It's going to be that protect on the Espathra, keeping it safe from this spread. Heat Wave coming
The
out
question
as
is,
Oranguru does manage to get a Reflect
Yep.
out before any damage is focused into the slot. So actually a little bit, I wouldn't say that it's a fast Oranguru, but it is moving before the King Gambit as King Gambit says whatever into that Reflect, does manage to get the KO.
that's the really tricky part here, where unfortunately, because we're now down 2 KOs in a row, that Espathra can't bat and pass. It itself is still obviously quite happy with the stat boosts it's got, but you can see where the game plan may well have been for this.
Yeah, so
Electros is having to come in without any setup. That said, it still can do a lot. Alright, and then we see the big positive and negative terminals.
the question is what the coverage moves on this Electros are, and having a look now. It's
Oh
a
yes,
little bit,
yes, it's stored power.
So it resisted stored power into that Delphox, doing only 25% as the Heat Wave in return comes out. Also not doing tons here. Discharge, oh, imagine if that was parabolic. It's back
The
there getting...
Pokemon gods are cruel tonight.
I think with, it may end up being irrelevant. This Espathra was
Yeah,
going
that's
to be knocked out anyway, so... However, we would have much preferred to see that paralysis landing into the Delphox. Would have given Electros a lot more room to work with here. Instead, it's facing down quite
Yeah.
a bit of damage on the other side.
Yeah, whether it's a psychic or a wave, either way, it's going to be quite
It is just going to be that psychic coming out, and so I'm not even sure that the crit there
hard to
making
say.
too much difference. The Electros unfortunately not able to get rolling there.
And that's the very interesting thing in that pace game, where
Whoops. I've disconnected. We're going to get back in that
disconnected
lobby.
from our own lobby.
We'll
Classic.
get back in there.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I need to see what I'm actually.
Over there. Yep. That's why we write down the password to our, or the code for our own lobby.
All right. All right. So we're back, and hopefully we'll be able to catch round 2 without missing too much. Good to have that work out that way.
Alright, yep. Yeah, and players are just heading in just a moment.
Excellent. So it looks like we haven't missed anything,
No.
and we'll be able to catch turn 1 of game 2. So we're seeing the same leads there from Felix. I guess they worked last time, they worked again, but we're going to see an adjustment here on Panicking side. So I'm not sure whether this is going to indicate either dual mega or just leaving the other one at home, but either way, changing how we're approaching this game. Obviously on the face of it, that Glenmora allows for a hit with a threat into the Delphox. The question is where you think you're going to swing with each of these ways. So we do see that turn 1 Mega Revolution on the Glenmora. If it is given a free hand, it can just take that Delphox off the field pretty easily, but the big question is, it's not enough. So it can take the Psychic. No fake out coming out this time around. We do see, that close combat. And that focus sash on the King Gambit doing a lot of work there. Definitely needed there. Now that White Herb does indeed come out, so that Sneasler now, even if that Delphox doesn't get KO'd, it will outspeed it. Oh, but I just saw that Delphox didn't Mega Evolve.
Oh,
Realizing.
possibly.
And I'm wondering if that would have made the difference to getting a KO on the Glenmora. Fascinating. Of course, there are other potential megas. I can't remember the team sheet, whether or not they actually are megas.
I believe this one has Camerupt and a Banette, and I don't know whether either of those might be.
I'm not sure if one does wonder why you, and the Hawlucha as well, theoretically.
Alrighty.
Out comes the Hawlucha. And meanwhile, Oranguru, so that signature instruct that the Oranguru is packing. Well, you can always do something with it. And also worth noting, of course, that Sneasler has its Unburden active, so it's going to be so fast. Indeed, there it comes. And Hawlucha's got a lot of work to do, because that 1 HP King Gambit has got some very limited options at this point.
Oh, wow.
That's hitting like a truck. Well,
Brave Bird in response is going to lead to Hawlucha knocking out itself and that Sneasler.
Yeah, wow, we've got a lightning fast pace here. And then I should be able to remember from the last game, but I think the Oranguru is faster than the...
Yes.
But it doesn't have any moves at all. There we go. For the Encore.
Interesting.
I mean, obviously you'd rather take an Iron Head than a Kowtow Cleave.
Yes.
And it does also lock it out of being able to Sucker Punch going forward. But of course, the big thing you've got to deal with there is that both your Sneasler and your Glenmora removed, you've only got one Pokemon, and it's got to pick up all of the KOs going forward. That said, Sylveon's got a pretty good time matchup here. It's naturally bulky. And Meowscarada, of course, is just, full of tricks.
Meowscarada has some interesting tricks up its sleeve. It is carrying a Choice Scarf, and you'll note it has more than one status move over attacking move.
For a Choice Scarf is fascinating too, but it looks like we just go for Throat Chop. Get rid of the Oranguru, stop messing with you. But of course the problem is that means Sylveon can just polish it off like that.
Yeah.
Really interesting endgame there. Not what I expected, at least in terms of what got brought to the matchup, but a really good adjustment. Clearly that judgment there on Panicking side, where you'd tried to do the setup and realised that your opponent could just outpace you. So just some really, really nice little choices there. So with that, we're going to jump into our third round, and I really don't know what to expect here. There's been pretty fast and furious so far. A lot of situations where each player's been able to get the other one into pretty much a no-win situation. So I will be interested to see what leads come out here, because I don't think I have a read on exactly what the best choices are myself. Ooh, okay. Well, we're certainly seeing no end to the variety coming out on Felix's side. That bayonet. Frisk obviously less helpful than it would be in a closed team sheet format, but still.
Hey, I mean, it's great for working out whether your opponents have team sheet errors.
That's definitely true. Oh, and it's... Am I correct from the team sheet that it's not a Mega Bayonet?
Yes, it looks like it's a mixed attacker here.
Oh!
Some good coverage options.
So there's Delphox now, absolutely the fastest thing on the field. Even with the speed boost that he gets from Mega Revolving, Glimora can't hope to compete with that speed. Delphox does have its pick of targets with Psychic. Obviously it will outspeed and can just hurt. And Sneasler obviously acknowledging that, because like, well, I've got to respect you. And ooh, look at that 1-2 punch.
Oh my goodness,
Yep.
that Delphox.
Yep, that's
just
you hate to see it.
really facing down that adaptability. Boosted attack there. Shadow Claw goes into Glimora, does respectful damage. And this Glimora now having Mega Revolve does not have the toxic spikes to be set off anymore.
Yeah, so that's the big consolation prize that Felix has, is that you're pretty much free to just start smashing things. Holucha comes out, however, unfortunately, it's not able to Mega Revolve because the Delphox has already burned it up. So you're going to have to improvise and find other roads into this fight. We've seen the acrobatics from Sneasler. Of course, at the moment, it's still holding its White Herb, so if it were to throw that out, it wouldn't do all that much. And close combat is another great option. Quick Claw comes out from the bayonet, so it will get to make its
Here we go, the
There we go.
special damage coming out from that bayonet. That's it. And that Brave Bird is going to also come out faster than the Sneasler can act. And so that's going to KO that Sneasler slot.
Fascinating seeing that. I guess perhaps a bit of underinvestment in the Sneasler, relying on its Unburden to go first, because normally I would expect it to outspeed Holucha.
So again, the Power Gem doing great work there, as King Gambit's now able to come out onto the field.
And the situation here where the Glimora, obviously, adaptability is giving it significant power. That Supreme Overlord of the King Gambit, I mean, it's got 2 KO'd friends. That, like, I would be interested to see what it can achieve there. Because you've got a lot of firepower to throw around here.
Yeah,
and in the absence of any Intimidate on the other team, Defiant wouldn't be giving you anything anyway.
And this Glimora here does not carry the common coverage move of Earth Power.
Yeah.
So its ability to damage this King Gambit is not that great here. So
I guess
power,
it's fearing, well, I've got a whole team for that. We'll see how that goes.
Yep, so Power Gem's going to take out the net here as Reflect comes out, hopefully to provide a little bit of
we'll see if it's enough.
protection. But it, I mean, it is Supreme Overlord. This Ironhead is going to be KOing through that Reflect.
So we're now left in another situation where we've got effectively a 2v1 endgame, and it hinges enormously on what that one is.
Ah, so Sylveon here. Now this can be very interesting here.
Much less comfortable than before. Previously
I have got the wrong move in the last slot of the Sylveon. Well, in fact, I've got a few moves I think wrong on this Sylveon.
You've had to work pretty fast.
I've been quite slow today, I feel. But,
the Draining Kiss does roughly 30% of the King Gambit, and that's a bit more than that.
That, however, does give the Oranguru the opportunity to instruct that as needed. So you might be able to get two Draining Kisses in before your next Ironhead lands into you. So, I mean, well, the question is whether you do that or whether you pick your other moves and hope to get more damage on the field. So, an interesting situation here. That's what it says. So it is going to be instruct.
Yeah, so you'll get 2 chances.
Is this Iron Guru the fastest thing on the field?
It
I
is,
was
it
not
is.
expecting that.
Oh, this is gonna be close.
Okay, so
If we
does
get-
Sylveon switch moves? If it does, I think it can get this KO.
It
Yeah,
can.
it can, yes. Oh, very tight game there.
So tight. Because yeah, obviously a second draining kiss I think would have been not quite
Yeah.
enough and without a critical hit. So really, really good adjustment there. Obviously a little bit of uncertainty about exactly where the speed tiers fell. So a really
yeah.
good closing
Really
out that
fun
end game
set
there on
from both
Panicking
of these
side.
players, yeah. Yeah,
Really
so
cool seeing some people willing to just try some like very different options.
yeah, and now that we've got the team sheets up, we can see there's some interesting things here. This the team sheet does say snore over yawn on the Sylveon. So if you get put to sleep, you can still do stuff. Maybe you can even get can you get instructed in your sleep if you press snore?
I don't
Does
know
that
how it
work?
works.
Like, because it picks.
I would
another...
imagine it's a legitimate move to use.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah.
But
Yeah. So very cool things coming up from both players, and I think yeah, this sort of like supportive camera up on the side there, with its growl and will-o-wisp.
Yeah. Really good at slowing things down. I really did like as well that respect given on Panicking side where you tried doing the Mega Electros snowball setup and your opponent instantly saw through it and went, well, I just get 2 KOs on the other side of the field and you can't do anything. And realized that that was just a dead end and that you needed to adjust and play assuming that you had to get the rest of your team to do the heavy lifting.
I think it's also that thing of it's kind of dependent on which coverage moves your Electros has. This one doesn't have flamethrower. Instead, it's carrying that flash cannon, so it's not able to do much into all those fire types or the steel types there. So, yeah, very cool set.
Yeah.
And at the conclusion of round 3, we're going to be heading into a top cut today, I think.
Yeah, we
so
are.
That's
so the plan
a
is for
rare
the top
treat.
4 to advance.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly we've either seen group stage going into a top cut, or
Or
we've seen
like the
just
smaller
a
locals we
straightforward
just-
Swiss that just cuts it. So
Yep.
yeah, we've got 2 more rounds.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see exactly where things have shaken out. We're down the opposite end of the hall, so I've got no clue what everyone's results have been apart from the games that we have streamed. So be interested to see where things fall out. Alright, so I'm seeing some usage snapshot here, and it's very interesting. Like, it's a really fascinating mix of the very conventional and the completely wild.
That's what I love about locals.
There's not really anything in the middle.
Mm. Oh, if I had to define anything in the middle, what would I say?
I'd say
Maybe
that-
like the Toxapex isn't like it's not.
I mean, maybe the Delphox qualifies as in the middle. It's one of those things where it's always been this obvious meta threat, but I haven't felt that it's ever had a period of dominance. And yet you see it here, it's tied most used mega in the tournament.
Well, I mean, you know, Star Fox is a
Oh, that's fair.
is a is an archetype, so we can say that, you know, seeing it up there, even though it wasn't always with the Staraptor, that seeing it tied with Staraptor isn't super surprising. But great day for Glamora. See a few of those.
I think I actually don't remember there being a Raichu. It never got picked in any of the
Oh,
ones
I
we
don't believe
cast.
it's been on stream yet.
Ah, so do we actually have
so
all?
I've received a team sheet from a player that hasn't yet been on stream.
That
So I
makes
think
sense.
that's one of the ones.
Mm.
Yeah, other than that, nice seeing all those one-off picks.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Interesting, yeah, seeing like almost no Incineroar. And Sinister as well, being
well,
just the one-off.
I mean, almost no Incineroar, but a lot of Free-Ref. So, like, if you were bringing your fake out cycling, you're not really too sad about.
And of
Well, I guess
course,
you're not too
the
sad about
Forking
not
Gambits
bringing
as
the.
well,
Yeah, about that.
And
So.
as we saw as well.
In this environment, it possibly is not the day for Incineroar. So.
Especially with the Staraptor, it's such an on-off thing for Incin. It's like, you're really happy on turn 1. If you catch it with the Intimidate and the Fake Out threat before it gets to Mega Evolve, that's really good. And then you're stuck with the problem where every turn afterwards, you're a giant liability. But yeah, no, in the scheme of things, Glenmore are having a pretty reasonable time of it. I mean, we got to see just how much damage it can do with that adaptability across multiple games tonight. And then, of course, you do have the, perhaps not surprising, but the inevitable procession with Whimsicott and Garchomp. It was like, oh yeah, I'm just really good, and I go with everything. And you could pretty much you could take pretty much any 5 Pokemon and put me with them, and it's like, yeah, I'm probably a net improvement.
Yeah. A little bit of variety on the Whimsicott set.
We have seen some interesting picks there. I think we've seen a few players who've just opted to, I think, give up on the ability to protect.
Yes,
we did see that one with the Fairy Feather as well, opting for more damage on the Moonblast. Interesting, particularly in an open team sheet format as well, where you could imagine in closed team sheet that's actually this little bit of extra edge that your opponent doesn't realize, because they're probably just going to assume that you're running a focus sash these days. Like, even Mental Herb has basically just disappeared in terms of what gets picked. So being willing to just go, no, like, just be open with it. Just go, well, I'm just going to hit really hard, and what are you going to do about it? Fascinating. I guess playing as well in the fact that even if you don't have a focus sash, fake out plus a big hit is still very, very frequent way to handle a Whimsicott anyway, just because you don't want it getting a tailwind up. So possibly recognizing that any environment that's going to threaten it is going to KO it, whether or not you're running the sash. And then on the flip side, of course, Charizard, only one that we've seen, which of course has still managed to have an outsized impact.
Yes.
Like, just fascinating, just how dominant that thing remains. But it looks like we're probably ready for our top 4 to be decided. We have had our final result. No, we still got another match going on.
Excitement in our final game of round 3.
Game going right down to the wire by the sounds of it. We've got players crowding around to see what happens.
Yeah.
Classic.
Garchomps. I'm hearing.
Oh. Rock slides and earthquakes, oh my. Alright, it's just been decided. So we'll see where things land up. We do now have all 4 matches reported. And we'll see who our top 4 are.
Alright, photos are being taken. Catch 'em
Catch 'em
all.
all!
Alright, photos. So, well, if you want to hop on and cast with us, you're always welcome to join us. Yeah. If anyone wants to come on the mic, you know, yeah. 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 So, yeah, we're heading into top 4. I'm not sure who's been on stream and not. I think we haven't had Joe yet at all. Yeah, I'm not sure whether maybe one of the players might have not wanted to have been streamed. So we'll work that out before we go into top cut, because that'll help determine what we want to do. Yep. Alrighty, so we're just going to work out where the players are going to land. All right, so we're heading into semi-finals, and we've got Joe versus Josh, and I'm joined here by Flivix.
Hi.
Hi. We got to watch your match just now. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
How many?
nerve-wracking.
Yeah. How many tournaments have you been to so far?
This is my second.
Second one. Yeah. Cool. And yeah. So we are heading into this match here, and we're seeing a very cool lead. It's a Grimsnarl and a Belly Bolt up against a Raichu and a Kingambit. So
Very interesting.
yeah, what are you thinking we might see from this Belly Bolt?
Well, what I've seen is used a lot of muddy water a lot.
So you think it might maybe bring out like a soak or something, or yeah, some sneaky stuff like that? Yeah, so Belly Bolt gets the oh, what's the name of the ability? It's the one that boosts its electric attacks when it's hit. So it's got some interesting potential here as we see a Swords Dance coming out from the Kingambit, and it's going to be a Muddy Water. The Muddy Water here hitting Raichu. Raichu's accuracy falls, but Raichu has no guard, so it's not actually going to prevent it from hitting with the accuracy drop.
Yeah, no guard Raichu, pretty good for like a Focus Blast. Pretty good.
Yeah, so Focus Blast is able to do quite a lot of damage we see from Raichu's, but as the players are deciding what they're going to do in this turn, Light Screen is going to diffuse the damage that Raichu might be able to put out there, but Zap Cannon coming out now into Grimmsnarl, securing a guaranteed paralysis. And now out comes a really strong Pascal Cleave, knocking out that Belly Bolt. And yeah, so it's a Life Orb Kingambit that we're seeing on Joe's side here. Mamoswine now hitting the field. So we're seeing some really cool Pokemon on Josh's side. And Mamoswine here would be able to threaten priority or maybe some super effective moves, but it does have to face down I guess the Focus Blast is still quite dangerous, even though it is immune to the Zap Cannon, as Mamoswine is brought down to its Focus Sash. So Swords Dance, Kingambit putting in a lot of work here. Grimmsnarl unfortunately not able to make a move, as Raichu moving before the Mamoswine is able to knock it out.
And there's the no guard Focus Blast.
Yeah, no guard Focus Blast, so that Muddy Water not able to stop that damage coming out. Now finally Sinistra, we have left for Josh 2 supportive Pokemon left on the field. Grimmsnarl, I mean, as Nico-Sar pointed out earlier in our commentary, attack is Grimmsnarl's highest natural stat, so maybe it can still pull off something here. But it is going to depend on what moves it has, and I don't actually have access to the team sheet, so I'm just going to see. Sinistra as well here might be able to flip things around. We'll have to see what the players choose. The huge damage coming out with another Zap Cannon as Matcha Gotcha comes out. Maybe fishing for a burn would be really good here. Doesn't find it, as the Kowtow Cleave returned into Sinistra is able to knock it out. So is Spirit Break as the attacking move from the Grimmsnarl. So interestingly there, if that is its only attacking move, it is going to be boosting the Kingambit. So it is going to be the forfeit here for game 1 as Joe takes it. Meanwhile, my overlay software is just going to freeze up on me. So
That was a pretty interesting game.
yeah. The players have some interesting information now as well.
Yeah.
So gonna
Especially playing in an open team sheet game.
So they're lining up for game 2. I might have to... Oh, hang on. Haha. Yeah, I haven't been clearing the data here. Here we go. I'm back. I'm gonna save this. We'll just go over here for now. While the players make their choices, so it'll be interesting to see the adaptations from Josh's side. I think we did we see there was no Staraptor that time, so we saw 4 non-mega capable Pokemon come to the game, and I can see why you might not want to necessarily bring that Staraptor when the other team has a Kingambit, so we'll see in game 2 what happens instead. Alright, so we are seeing the lead. Staraptor does come this time as well as Ceruledge. In return, it is unfortunately going to be giving that Defiant boost over to the Kingambit. Ceruledge here is immune to a possible fake out, so that's a potential there, where in this turn there might have to be a decision of what... I don't want to say too much until the players have committed their moves. But yeah, so as the players commit their moves, the interesting thing here is that Zap Cannon is going to get that guaranteed paralysis if it hits a target, and that could be quite impactful here. And if Staraptor wants to start getting boosted, it's going to want to get its potentially a close combat off into a Kingambit. So these are all really interesting things to navigate, as we do see Protect coming out on Kingambit. And it is going to be Zap Cannon into the Staraptor slot, and that's just going to be a one-hit KO.
That was a good play.
Yeah, so really devastating damage there as Bulk Up comes out on the Ceruledge, so making it a little bit sturdier in front of a potential Sucker Punch or even Kowtow Cleave. And sometimes these Ceruledges hold the Culber Berry, so I'm not sure what item this one has, but between those two things that would make it a lot happier in front of a Kingambit than it might normally be. Grimmsnarl now hitting the field might be able to support it as well. So it is going to be Reflect coming out, so a lot of physical defense for that Ceruledge. It is, however, going to have to face down the special attack, that Zap Cannon from Raichu, which is going to get that guaranteed paralysis into the slot. So it is probably now going to be slower than the Kingambit. So Culber Berry plus Bulk Up, is it going to be able to survive? And unfortunately, no, it is KO'd there. So that 1-2 punch with the paralysis taking out the Ceruledge. And this time it's going to be Sinister again. And we've got, maybe if we get second screens up here, Sinister might be able to just hit Match Gotcha quite a bit. Or it might be able to, we might be able to see some other things. But that Kingambit with Life Orb is just doing so much damage. And it's not an item that we commonly see on Kingambit, which sort of changes that sort of in your head, how much damage do you think you can take? Oh, maybe Sinister can take that Kowtow Cleave normally, but with the Life Orb, things change.
And
so
we do see that double screen come out.
Yeah, so Light Screen coming out just to give that little extra bulk to the team. And Grimmsnarl is going to be taking that paralysis from the Zap Cannon. So Sinister here faster than the Kingambit, going first and getting its Matcha Gotcha out, and unfortunately not finding the burn that it really needs at this point. So even with the Reflector, Sinister being KO'd by that Kowtow Cleave. And that is going to be game 2, so really strong showing there from Joe, as that's our semi-finals match. So the other semi-finals match is underway now. So we will be bringing you finals soon. Yeah. With that now, we have seen every team that was brought to the tournament. So if I swap over to our usage stats now, should be able to add that last team. So yeah, this is everything that came to the tournament today. So really cool stuff from everyone. I love adding a few more of those unique picks in with that Belly Bolt and the Grimmsnarl and the Mammothswine. Oh, and Ceruledge as well. Some really cool Pokemon. Super cool. As we've heard many times today, I'm hearing Rock Slide in the final. It's a bit of a game. Choice scarfed into Rock Slide, yep, that sounds about right. So this is from our other match from the other semi-finalists. Okay, so we've had our final, our second semi-final match resolved. So it's going to be Angel versus Joe in the finals. So we'll get that match up for you soon.
Alrighty. I think I am clocked in.
Yes, so I've got Kai with me now. So you just played your semi-final match?
Yeah, was a really fun semi-final, but Angel, being the player she is, was able to get the clean 2-0, being my one and only game. But here we have Joe vs Angel with...
Thank you. Sweet. Yep. So we've got the team sheets, we've got the players, so we're all good. Interesting matchup here with the Raichu versus Charizard potential, or, I mean, Star Raptor can always come as well. So
It could, but it doesn't seem likely.
the fun of being in the same room as players is that we have to keep our thoughts to ourselves a little
Yeah.
more than we might normally. So in the chat pointing out this is going to be a rematch match from is this one of our previous
from
locals
Tuesday.
from Tuesday? Yep.
Yes. And
Yeah.
it also happens to be a rematch from the Door Park Cash Cup.
Ah, yes, that's true. So yeah, we've got a bit of history behind these players, and the teams are not too different. I don't think from
We don't
when
have
they.
a Morwile, maybe in substitution of the Kingamba, but we still have that Toxapex.
Yes, hopefully we don't end up with those sucker punch mind games once again in front of that Toxapex.
Zardchomp versus Raptor Arcanine lead.
Yep.
Arcanine being Rockhead and Sash, able to fire off a devastating... I can't say too much, actually.
We'll
I'm
wait
not
for the
used to
players to
being
lock
in
in.
the-
Yep, that's it. We wait for the players to lock into their turns, and then we start talking. So
I'm not used to
yeah.
being in the same room.
it's all play by plays from here. So
yeah.
yep.
Unfortunate.
But definitely interesting leads as we see.
Yeah.
I think we were saying, would we expect to see the Star Raptor when the Mega of Choice on the other team is Charizard? And we are seeing it come out here. Whether we see it commit to maybe a Mega, we'll find out. It's still in the player's hands. They're really making us like sweat over here.
Yeah,
They're like
right.
taking as long as they can to make their choice so
Come
they
on,
can
give us some content, please.
So it is
Raptor into Zard into Incin here.
yeah, so Instant are able to get that Intimidate down before the Star Raptor Mega Evolves. And it is going to be committing to the Mega Evolution, resolving that
Interesting.
question there.
Stomping into the Arcanine bring it down to the Focus Sash. But what do we see here?
So if it was to be a rock move into the Charizard, it's still going to be a
Interesting.
Tailwind from Star Raptor, very cool. As it is the head.
It's the head smash I kind of called.
Yeah, so -1 head smash. I mean, at least
About
it hits.
75% to the Incin before Citrus.
So putting that Incin back on about half health, and it does have. I don't think this is controversial to say at all. It's a fake out turn. It's available. It's available.
Yeah.
Whether it clicks
I
it,
think you're safe to say that.
whether it clicks it or not, that's another thing. But we all know it is the turn that it has it available to it on entering the field. Ah, yes, that's right. At the Cash Cup, it was the Blaziken, not the not the Sun team.
Yes.
So yeah, quite different elements actually. So Arcanine is going to leave the field. Maybe we scared it off. We said fake out a few too many times. As Farigiraf hits the field, it is going to be the thing that can annul the potential
Showing
fake
all
out.
four mons on Angel's side here. Fake out being blocked by the Armor Tail. And you see a close combat right into the Incin. Should pick up.
However, yeah, that Sylveon positioned okay here now. Doesn't have the speed available to it, but it's not hating this situation too much. As
The special defense boost does make Staraptor happier, but not happy.
With speed in its favour, it may yet get a second boost.
That
We'll
too,
find
yeah.
out. Yep. So as we head into this turn, thank you for picking up the pace, players. We get to talk more. So that is the Mega Y coming out as close combat is going to bring the second special defense boost onto that Star Raptor slot. Yeah, resisted 20%. You know.
Thought with a -1 as well.
And Psychic is also going to come out into
Just chipping the
Sylveon.
Sylveon. But a Heat Wave with the Sun boost. Not doing too much with the +2 on the Raptor. But the double up just hurting both mons here.
Yeah, so what does this Star Raptor have? It doesn't have boost. So
No
interesting.
boost in
Yeah.
favour for Tailwind.
Mm. And it is that last turn of Tailwind, so whether it wants to be present to help its team out further or whether an alternative path is going to be explored, we will see. So
See the detect probably stalling out the last turn of Tailwind here. Doing bit into Zard, interesting.
interestingly, we
found
did
a
see that the
quarter.
Frigraph did not act, and last time I believe the Frigraph was faster, so it might be going for a Trick Room here, but it
But
has
doesn't
been
get
KO'd
her.
through the critical hit.
Not even sure.
Yeah,
Magic
I'm
there.
not sure. Yeah, yeah, because the Frigraph did have to expend its Citrus Berry last time. So
Yeah.
with the Tailwind out and no Trick Room on the board, it would seem that perhaps the speed is back in Angel's favour, but it's going to
I
be
believe so.
it's going to
Like-
be a couple of Pokemon with priority available to them. However, so interesting decisions here to be made.
Protect Mat comes out, saving them from a possible quick attack here.
Yeah, that's
which
right.
we do see.
Mm.
The question is it Sucker or do you... It is Sucker into the Zard.
Which isn't enough to KO it here, even with the Life Orb boost, as I think. Yep,
Weather Ball,
Charizard
single
doesn't
target.
risk a miss here. It is going to be Weather Ball into the slot, taking out King Gambit handily. And this is looking very favourable now for
Yep.
Angel, as we
And
are
we
seeing the
see the
forfeit come
forfeit.
out. Yep. Whoa. Yep, there we go. Yeah, very cool there. Seeing that all unfold. I'll be curious to see what the players do. I'm not going to say anything
Yeah.
about what I think they should do because I don't think I even know. So, but yeah, as we head into game 2, we have Angel up 1 game.
Indeed, I've got a few ideas on what they could do, but as I don't pilot either Raichu or Charizard, I'm not very sure.
Well, we've got a little bit of downtime here. I just want to say it's been a pretty nice day out at Game Lobby.
Yes.
Even though getting up that freeway was a little bit terrifying. I don't know how the locals do it. But yeah, it's been really great here. And Game Lobby are intending to do monthly tournaments heading forward. So, alright, let's see.
And heading into the game here, we see the leads of
Here we go.
Innocent Sylveon from Angel against Arcanine Staraptor.
So he is able to catch the Intimidate in the critical point here.
Trading
Oh.
on the field.
Oh, yeah,
but,
okay, yeah.
Angel's Intimidates matter a bit more here.
Hmm. We've just gone into game 2. And
Staraptor switches here.
Yep.
Resetting the attack drop and walling a fake out turn.
So,
No fake
yep.
out, but
Oh,
with a
and
head
it is going to be the
smash
miss.
Passing shot putting Arcanine down on -2. Its attack's not going to be doing all that much now.
And that's a really great turn from Angel, and I think really building on that game one where that the bait had been placed, and we'd been even talking about that free fake out turn, and Frigraf came in, so presented with a situation where fake out was available again. She saw, okay, the opportunity for Frigraf to come in has presented itself again. Let's not waste risking a turn. Yeah.
Yeah, and notably with that hyper voice, Arcanine's focus hash is now broken.
Yeah, so Arcanine with the
Reset
-2 is going to leave the field.
Putting an Intimidate down on the Garchomp here. Dragon Claw. Interesting. Doing a bit under 50 here and with a hyper voice.
Oh,
that doesn't quite pick up the KO.
Yeah, living on that 1%. Staraptor is hanging around. But I think it's in a difficult position regardless.
I don't think it's going to be able to stay for the next turn, unfortunately.
Okay, and we are going to see. This is one of those turns where they really want us to think, because I think there's a lot of things that could happen, so they're really thinking that through. Unfortunately, the turns where there's a lot of things that could happen are the ones where we want to yap, but we can't.
Fortunately, being so low, we see a Mega here, but being outsped by that Scarf Chomp.
Yep. Scarf on that Garchomp. Maybe hoping that...
Single target, not quite KOing.
Maybe the hope there was that you would maybe see Instinct come in to just try and get an early Intimidate, then you get your first close combat off or something, but
or Joe just could have easily not read the team sheet like my round 3.
Oh, yes, we're getting back into the swing of open team sheet, aren't we? Yeah. Yep. Just because it's on the piece of paper in front of you doesn't mean that you actually know it.
Definitely.
Which,
I think in the Discord I've definitely made my stance clear on what I think of open team sheet.
Alright, that...
Being a huge advocate. We see the Insane Intimidate drop. Flare Blitz with the Intimidate doing... I didn't see
30,
how much.
40%, yeah, and Frigraf is able to...
just living.
Yes.
With a crit on Arcanine too. And you get the Trick Room up, but I think that benefits Angel more than Joe.
Yeah, I would imagine the Sylveon's slower than the Arcanine.
I mean, it's been firing attacks off after Arcanine consistently.
I'd be interested to see whether Frigraf can get anything done with only 4% health left here.
Is a helping hand not...
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm not sure... Oh, okay, so Sylveon is just even slower than... So, I mean, helping hand could have been interesting maybe, but...
Or he could have been trying to reverse the Trick Room.
Oh, yeah, maybe. So it's going to be that...
but just with the
KO.
2 attacks...
And that's it.
The forfeit has been submitted, meaning Angels won that with a clean 2-0.
Very clean, yeah. And so yeah, that's the tournament.
Yeah. Angel coming in first here, Joe second, and we're not too sure on the third and fourth.
Yeah. So. Thank you everyone for tuning in, for saying hi in the chat. It's always nice seeing the people who can't make it out to events still be involved. So, been pretty fun. Was it worth coming all the way over?
I mean, hitting top car, absolutely. The drive, not so much.
Yeah. So, I think it'll be cool to see how things go as these month leagues continue. But yeah.
Definitely looking forward to the sanctioned events returning.
Yes.
In I think 3 weeks now is the countdown.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, Worlds is at the end of August, so
Because it starts. Does it not start 1st of September?
I'm unsure. So Regulation MC has been pushed back to the 9th. Yeah, so I think that coincides with when they're releasing the sort of the secondary champions version, just to get around, I think, some regional issues. So once they start that up, I'm not sure when the various locals might kick in. Woo!
Woo!
Angel's gonna be in many photos, advertising for the various venues. So so we're gonna have winners photo, and it's been a fun event. I'm gonna get out of the background of this photo. All right. Everyone. Yes, we had the open team sheets without Nature's, but we will have Nature's next time. All right, that's it from us. Thank you, everybody. Thanks again to Joe for providing us with internet. And we're going to wrap it up. Good night.